PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
The latest chapter in the feud between It Ends With Us co-stars Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively.
So Baldoni is now suing the actress, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and others as well, for what he says is a smear campaign to ruin his name and his career.
You think Blake fell in love with Justin? I think that she felt scorned by him in some way, whether he didn't like her creative suggestions. But what I do know and what I really feel firmly and strongly about is that Justin is a good guy. I think that his intentions were good, and I think that I don't believe that he acted inappropriately. Blake really felt like she was being harassed. Some of her behavior didn't really add up to that with how comfortable she felt with Justin and the way that she spoke to him. That's not to say that you have to behave like the perfect victim if you are victimized, if you're hurt, but it strains credulity, as we always say.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie.
A sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit. And I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall.
Blake Lively's legal team has just taken a major hit. Her own lawyer has suddenly quit. And the reason? Absolutely shocking. With new details surfacing about her legal battle with Justin Baldoni, it seems things aren't as clear-cut as they appeared. What went down behind closed doors? And why is her lawyer turning against her? Let's break it all down.
This was my experience with Blake Lively. We weren't allowed to talk to her on the set. We weren't allowed to ask for an autograph. We were, instructed, this way or that. We were treated like this.
Blake Lively once captivated audiences with her charm, gracing red carpets and magazine covers, embodying the picture of a style icon with a down-to-earth personality. But things took a sharp turn when she became embroiled in a whirlwind of allegations tied to her involvement in the film adaptation of It Ends With Us.
Appropriately. I think that if Justin was a genuinely bad guy, we'd be hearing from all the women coming out of the woodwork who'd experienced him being creepy in the past, right? Like, why has no one else come forward? Right. Just feels kind of very weighted on the side of everyone has known that Blake Lively and Ryan.
And how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different
This text from Blake Lively is insane. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you
That is
insinuating?
that if your wife is, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation.
Just tell me what it was like also collaborating with Blake.
Oh, she's a creative force. She's a genius. She was involved in every aspect of this production, and everything she touched, she made better.
And you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it. And
directed and co-written by Justin Baldoni, the movie seemed to promise an uplifting journey, but behind the scenes, it quickly spiraled into chaos. Disputes over text messages, counterclaims, and unexpected secrets started to surface, eventually leading to a bombshell. Blake's own lawyer decided to cut ties with her. To make matters worse, the lawyer openly explained the reasons for stepping down, accusing Blake of taking extreme measures to sabotage Justin, with proof now coming to light. Hollywood was shaken by this move. It's rare for a top lawyer to publicly distance themselves from a high-profile client, especially while hinting at ethical concerns. With Blake's usually cheerful and self-depreciating public image, it seemed unlikely that she would be at the center of a scandal that would push her attorney to this point. Now we're witnessing the shocking unraveling of her carefully crafted reputation, something more dramatic than anything she's ever portrayed on screen. The whole controversy started off innocently enough. It Ends With Us, beloved by fans, seemed like the perfect candidate for a heartfelt, visually stunning film adaptation.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. She has no one to blame but herself for that.
The press tour is part of that pay package.
Right.
You have to show up with a smile on your face and be polite to people who are not lobbing, difficult questions at you. They're softballs.
Justin Baldoni came into the project with big dreams. He wanted to create a film that would truly connect with people. When Blake Lively joined the cast, it only increased the excitement. Fans were eager to see her involvement, believing it would bring even more attention to the film. On the surface, both Blake and Justin seemed hopeful about their collaboration. Justin was known for his positive, heartfelt approach to storytelling, while Blake was celebrated for her glamorous public presence. But things weren't as smooth behind the scenes. Word started to spread that Blake felt like she was being overshadowed by Justin. With him acting as the director, co-writer, and a lead actor, he naturally took center stage. Rumors suggested Blake wasn't happy with how much control he had over the creative direction of the film. She was also reportedly frustrated by the way he seemed to shape the media narrative around the project, making her seem less important. As whispers turned into tabloid stories, fans picked up on odd moments. Blake's responses during interviews felt distant, and she'd often steer conversations away from Justin's contributions.
It's a legal battle, so we've got Laura Jarrett here to kind of look into the strengths and weaknesses of the cases. What can you tell from these complaints? These are both sides' story, but they haven't yet really seen a court of law.
Yeah, I think we have to put aside all of the finger pointing and the PR bluster and actually look at what makes a legal claim. And a defamation claim, as you know, is very easy to bring and not that easy to win. We have seen them fail before. The legal standard is higher for public figures, celebrities. You have to show actual malice, that she went about this with a deliberate effort to destroy his career, which is something he alleges. But if this actually went to trial, it wouldn't be enough to just say Taylor Swift didn't like my rewrite of the actual balcony scene, right? He has to show he suffered real harm to his career and reputation.
To that end there, Laura, do you think this is something that ever sees the inside of a court of law?
I think it depends on their appetite to have all of their dirty laundry actually aired out. When you bring a civil lawsuit like this, you get discovery, which means people take depositions. They're under oath. They're usually videotaped.
Both sides do.
Both sides.
It all comes out.
Exactly, because she sued and now he has countersued. We all remember the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, how ugly that was, everything that came out. That's what we're talking about here if this actually goes to trial.
In one instance, Blake recalled an awkward casting experience. She shared that she had auditioned for a show that ended up becoming quite successful. After the audition, she got a call from her agents with big news. She'd been chosen. But then came the strange follow-up. The network said her eyebrows were too distracting for the role. This moment, seemingly trivial, became one of many that fed into the mounting tension between Blake and Justin. Tensions continued to rise, and rumors started swirling about Blake's behind-the-scenes frustrations. Blake eventually accused Justin of running a smear campaign to ruin her image, claiming that false stories were planted in the media to target her. At first, the allegations against Justin started to gain some traction. Hollywood's reputation for shifting loyalties and leaked information made it seem believable that a star like Blake could be the target of negative press if things weren't going smoothly on set. Fans and industry insiders initially leaned towards supporting Blake, remembering how female stars often face more intense scrutiny than their male counterparts.
If Blake really felt like she was being... Some of her behavior didn't really add up to that with how comfortable she felt with Justin and the way that she spoke to him. That's not to say that you have to behave like the perfect victim if you are victimized, if you're hurt, but it strains credulity, as we always say. It adds context to these very black and white scenarios that she painted for us. It makes you wonder, like, if you really felt so victimized and so harassed by someone, would you ask them into your trailer while you're breastfeeding? Like, would you say, hey, I'm pumping, come in, let's run lines late at night? It paints a very different picture of how safe or unsafe she felt around him.
Right.
However, as more details came to light, things started to get more complicated. Screenshots of text messages, mostly leaked by Justin's inner circle, began circulating. These texts told a different story. Instead of Blake being the victim of Justin's control, it started to look like Blake was trying to take charge of several parts of the production herself. In some of these messages, she even referred to her circle of influential friends, including her husband, Ryan Reynolds, calling them her dragons. She hinted that if her demands weren't met, she could use these powerful connections to influence the film's edits, its marketing, and even media coverage. The situation might have blown over quietly, but it didn't stop there. New rumors emerged suggesting Blake wanted to change the script, veto certain technical decisions, and even control how her co-stars were positioned during press events. Producers recalled receiving stern messages from her, suggesting that she might pull out of promotional duties if her views weren't taken seriously. The real turning point came when Blake filed a legal claim against the production, saying she felt uncomfortable on set. She focused on the lack of protocols for close contact scenes and claimed Justin had made unkind comments about her appearance after childbirth, an accusation that, if true, painted him in a very negative light. In the midst of all of this, Blake's attorney publicly released a series of carefully selected text messages to back up her claims. These texts were edited to remove emojis, cut up conversations, and rearrange statements, painting Justin as either controlling or insensitive to Blake's comfort. This curated evidence became a key part of her legal strategy.
The make of that is that if your wife is, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation. You take it very seriously. You file HR complaints. You raise the issue, and you follow a legal process. What you don't do is mock the person and turn it into a joke.
Soon after, Justin's team fought back with what they called the full text record. This collection of unedited, chronological conversations seemed to challenge some of Blake's claims. For example, Blake had accused Justin of entering her trailer without warning while she was in a vulnerable situation. But Justin's evidence showed she had actually invited him in, even joking about the timing in a message. This left many people puzzled.
What really happened, released their actual texts, putting things like, he watched me breastfeed my trailer in context when we saw text from her saying, I'm breastfeeding in my trailer, come on over. And they've gone tit for tat in the, nice pun right after the breastfeeding, ever since in the media. So this is just the...
Then came a surprising twist. Blake's longtime lawyer, known for handling sensitive cases with high-profile Hollywood stars, decided to step away from her case. The lawyer's departure was unexpected, and it wasn't just the fact that they left, it was how they left. Rather than quietly filing a withdrawal, the lawyer publicly expressed concerns about the credibility of Blake's claims. This was a major shock in the industry, as it's very rare for a lawyer to publicly question their client like that.
This was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit. And I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked. And instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman. He stopped by the Megyn Kelly show. And here's some of the things that he had to say. First, he says there used to never be a claim. There never was a claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen.
There was actually no allegation of harassment until the lawsuit was filed.
Some industry insiders speculated that after reviewing the full records and hearing witness testimonies, the lawyer realized there was a big gap between Blake's public statements and the actual facts. The lawyer's statement was carefully crafted, avoiding direct accusations, but making it clear that they could no longer ethically support Blake's version of the story. In private comments to a select group of reporters, the lawyer hinted that after seeing the full evidence, they started to believe Blake may have twisted certain events on set to make Justin look bad.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint. That is the PR agent who was supposed to be working for Justin Baldoni. Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
The lawyer's bold decision to step away fit with what had been mentioned in the press about a series of messages. These texts seem to suggest that Blake may have exaggerated or even twisted the normal challenges of production to fit her narrative.
This text from Blake Lively is insane. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. What?
It's a crazy text.
What are you insinuating? Like, is that a joke?
Yeah.
I was blown away reading it. I really was blown away, and honestly, weirded out. We're dealing with a weird on our hands because this is crazy.
Then, a revelation from Blake's former attorney sparked even more talk. Public opinion had been split. Some people still believe Blake was the victim of unseen manipulation, while others were starting to think she might have used half-truths to control the media. But when her own lawyer turned against her, it made people question how reliable her story really was.
Ryan Reynolds was I think he would say, I was standing up for my wife who'd been sexualized by this guy and so on. But what role did he have in all of this?
Well, arguably, for the first time at the premiere, you find out that Blake Lively tells people that all of a sudden he wrote a scene in the movie. I mean, shocking everybody, shocking Sony, shocking the production staff. It's the first time they're hearing it. And, Justin handles that really, really well. And doesn't want to say she's a liar, or doesn't want to say that's inappropriate, or doesn't want to say that's part of someone else's job. And he treats her very well about that. But what Ryan Reynolds, has seemingly done, right?
Fans quickly took to online forums, diving into heated debates. Some felt betrayed, thinking Blake had lied to them, while others held on to their belief in her, arguing that the lawyer might have personal reasons for leaving or hidden motives. For Justin, this new development was a surprise win. He'd set out to create a heartfelt film, but now found himself in the middle of an unexpected storm, having to defend himself by releasing private messages. By the time the lawyer's statement came out, Justin didn't have to keep fighting for his side. His opponent's own lawyer had effectively done that for him. In one interview, Justin shared that if it weren't for women in his life who gave him honest feedback, and for him being open to listening, he never would have been in this position at all. His message was simple. As men, they need to embrace all parts of their humanity, including the ability to listen and grow. The lawyer's dramatic exit only made industry insiders more sure of what they had suspected. The more people dug into Blake's claims, the more things started to fall apart. Cast and crew members, who had stayed quiet before, now felt free to share their stories. Some revealed that Blake seemed to take ordinary situations, twist them, and then later use them in ways that didn't match what actually happened.
I would say all of it did not generate with this PR team. I mean, since I've been involved in this case, I've gotten 50 either texts or emails or, things to my firm's website, more than 50 actually, about this was my experience with Blake Lively. We weren't allowed to talk to her on the set. We weren't allowed to ask for an autograph. We were, instructed, this way or that. We were treated like this. I mean,
One production assistant shared a story about Blake asking to reshoot a scene multiple times for creative reasons. But then, just days later, Blake described the same situation in interviews, claiming that the production lacked proper emotional support guidelines. This inconsistency left people scratching their heads. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni found himself in an unexpected position. Many people started seeing him as the one who had been unfairly targeted. As more details came out, it became clear that the very lawyer who had once backed Blake was now helping to clear his name. The whole situation has turned into one of the most complicated Hollywood dramas in recent memory, filled with legal twists, personal conflicts, and a star's sudden fall from grace. The tension between Blake and Justin doesn't seem like it'll resolve anytime soon, especially with more depositions or new claims possibly on the horizon. But the biggest blow to Blake's credibility may not come from Justin, but from her own former lawyer. By resigning and publicly questioning the case Blake was building, the lawyer has provided the strongest indication yet that the story Blake had been telling might not be as solid as she once claimed. For Blake, once seen as effortlessly charming, this turn of events serves as a harsh reminder. In an industry that thrives on perception, the truth always gets put under a microscope. If she decides to continue pursuing her claims, she'll have to face not only Justin's side, but also the lingering doubts raised by her own lawyer's departure. On the other hand, if she lets things fade quietly, it might leave an unresolved cloud of doubt hanging over her future projects. Either way, it's a risky move. As for Justin, despite the stress he's been through, he's now in a better position to move forward. With new projects on the horizon, the public continues to sift through the messages and confessions he's released. It'll likely take a while for a final resolution to come. Court cases can drag on, and public opinion, while quick to react, can easily change again if new details emerge. No matter how everything plays out, Blake Lively's lawyer stepping away has already made this story a memorable one in Hollywood. That single exit really hammered home a big lesson. When the facts don't add up, even the most polished celebrity image can fall apart, leaving behind a series of shocking revelations no one could have predicted. Recently, Justin Baldoni shared a 7-minute voice note where he apologized to Blake, something he did while they were still filming. In the note, he mentioned it was 2 a.m. and hoped he wasn't waking her up. He said there was a lot on his mind and hoped they could chat on FaceTime or meet up soon. He even joked about how neither of them had the best track record when it came to keeping voice messages short. Justin explained how awful he felt after hearing the second part of Blake's message. He admitted that he had messed up and let her down. He acknowledged how much effort she put into her work and how his actions had made her feel. He also thanked her for being open enough to share her feelings with him, seeing it as a sign of trust.
And share that with me, and I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm going to f*** up. I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to probably, but I will always apologize and find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you.
Justin didn't try to downplay anything. He straight up owned his mistake. He admitted that he's not perfect, and his wife would definitely back that up. He owned up to messing up, saying the wrong things, and probably making people mad from time to time. But he promised that no matter what, he'd always apologize and try to fix things. He made sure to say how bad he felt about the way things had gone down and vowed to do better next time. When it came to Blake's friends, Justin had nothing but praise. He said that her friends were clearly awesome, and they deserved to have such a great support system. He also mentioned how incredible her creative energy was, especially when she was with those two other talented people, which were rumored to be Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. He couldn't stop talking about how great the three of them were together. What makes this interesting is that Justin was taking full responsibility for his actions and apologizing to Blake for hurting her, even though technically he didn't have to. After all, he was the director and she was just the actress. He wasn't obligated to listen to her suggestions for the script.
And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet.
But here's where people started to notice something. Justin kept bringing up the chemistry between him and Blake, almost like he was trying to keep himself in check. He was careful not to sound disrespectful, but it was clear he was excited about their work together. At one point in the message, he said, It's really good, and it's going to make the movie sing. Like you said, I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you.
But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship.
People started to wonder if there was more to Justin and Blake's relationship than just your average work relationship. While it might not have been an affair, it definitely seemed like there was something more going on behind the scenes. Here's the theory that's been making the rounds online. Blake may have caught serious feelings for Justin, and when Ryan found out, Blake reportedly freaked out and tried to shift the blame onto Justin to cover herself. That could explain why Justin had no problem shutting down some of the things Blake said about him.
Do you think Blake fell in love with Justin? I think that she felt scorned by him in some way, whether he didn't like her creative suggestions. But what I do know and what I really feel firmly and strongly about is that Justin is a good guy. I think that his intentions were good, and I think that I don't believe that he acted inappropriately.
I think that if Justin was a genuinely bad guy, we'd be hearing from all the women coming out of the woodwork who'd experienced him being creepy in the past, right? Like, why has no one else come forward?
Right. Just feels kind of very weighted on the side of like, everyone has known that Blake Lively and Ryan are the worst for a while.
Right.
You know, it's been an open secret.
I feel like she got a crush on him. I think it would be hard not to have a crush on him. I think Ryan Reynolds did see the dailies and did get upset seeing their chemistry.
I mean, it just makes that whole claim that she, really wanted to see the dailies later on. Like maybe he was like, I want to see those dailies every single day. Like he was going to check to make sure nothing weird was happening.
So interesting. Like what if Blake was just a conduit for Ryan's major control issues?
Take, for example, Blake's claim that Justin and his publicist, Jamie Heath, were invading her privacy by walking into her makeup trailer uninvited, even when she was undressed, like when she was breastfeeding her baby. But Justin didn't let that slide. In his countersuit, he called out that accusation, saying it was actually Blake who invited him into her trailer so they could run through their lines for the movie.
This is all BS, that I didn't hurt in any way, shape, or form. She tried to steal my movie from her. I bent over backward to accommodate her. Her alleged claims of sex are complete BS. Here's what really happened. Released their actual texts, putting things like, he watched me breastfeed my trailer in context when we saw text from her saying, I'm breastfeeding in my trailer, come on over. And they've gone tit for tat in the, nice pun right after the breastfeeding, ever since in the media. So this is just the latest salvo, and I will play you.
There's even a text exchange that supports Justin's side. In it, Justin was sending Blake his condolences after hearing she and her baby were sick. He wished them both a speedy recovery and told her he'd do whatever he could to make their work easier. Blake responded saying she got the latest script pages late the night before and was just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines. Justin replied, copy, eating with Cruin, we'll head that way. Then there's the part where Blake accused Justin of going off script in a pretty uncomfortable way. She said he brought up his past relationships and even added explicit scenes that weren't in the original script. Blake claimed that Justin started improvising physical intimacy, like secretly biting and sucking on her lower lip during a scene, with no rehearsal, choreography, or intimacy coordinator involved. She said he kept pushing to do the scene over and over, crossing boundaries beyond what was needed on set, all without her consent. Justin fired back, saying that it was actually Blake who refused to work with the intimacy coordinator they had for the scenes. So he ended up meeting with the coordinator on his own and then relaying the info to Blake. He also pointed out that, even though neither of them was really comfortable with it, there were times when they'd go through the scenes together without the coordinator. They'd talk about their characters and personal experiences to make those moments feel more real.
That you should not be the intimacy coordinator. You should definitely hire intimacy coordinators, which we did have. Thank goodness.
You were teaching Justin how to pull you in.
Where have you seen this?
That
I actually just saw it too. Yeah, it was on Instagram yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that romance is really important. You're supposed to.
It seems like Blake took something that was supposed to make filming intimate scenes easier and turned it into a bigger issue, using it to go after Justin.
Oh my gosh, we don't shut up.
And Emily and I have we have these moments where
staring. You just stare.
Literally we've done it for 5 minutes. it's like, I think you would find it terrifying. He's literally
You're talking about their
literally
spouses.
each other, and like
When I
time
found a sociopath.
and like time stops.
Yeah.
But like that's just how it's been for us from the beginning.
No, we're like, oh my god, there's not enough time.
And they score again.
No. It's like, oh my god, I forgot to tell you something else.
Oh, I think that's cute. You guys are really cute.
I think it's more than cute. I feel so nosy.
They're acting like lovers.
Noses.
And my nose is so big.
Yes. I was hoping that we could address this. It's not too late. Just gotta shut down. We gotta call an insurance month and just deal with that.
Yeah.
And then
Deal with your big nose.
just kidding.
Okay, there. Okay, so he puts his like head in her neck.
I'm not getting beard on you today.
And says, am I getting beard on you?
It smells good.
Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Right. And then says, smells good. And she says, it's my body makeup. That's her big harassment moment. They are playfully acting for the camera, trying to make it look like two lovers, two people in a relationship are dancing with one another.
Then, after Justin's team released some behind-the-scenes footage and a voice memo, Blake and Ryan tried to file a gag order against Justin and his lawyer, Brian Fredman. Neither Justin nor his lawyer commented on the gag order, but a source close to Justin said it was, in their words, grossly unfair to impose it after Justin had already been defamed by the New York Times, an article they say cost him 3 jobs and hundreds of millions of dollars. Basically, the gag order would prevent Justin from talking to the press or sharing any more details about the case. A lot of people thought this seemed a little fishy. If you're really sure you're in the right, why be so worried about what the other side is saying to the media? Shouldn't you want the truth to come out for everyone to see? Something definitely feels off here.
There's these great Louboutins that are also a close-up on them when we're dancing in the bar. Those are mine. I have a few of my husband's shirts and socks randomly in the movie. I have some of Gigi Hadid's sweaters in the movie.
The chemistry with Justin also was off the charts. I mean, really, truly.
Really important. You're supposed to, tell a story well and make people feel, but you're also supposed to do it in a way that,
One theory floating around is that Blake might have started this lawsuit to take the spotlight off all the negative attention she was getting after the movie came out. People weren't too happy when she began promoting her new hair care line and alcohol brand right around the same time the film dropped. The hair care line raised some eyebrows, but pushing alcohol while being in a movie about domestic maltreatment? That felt even more off. To make matters worse, some of Blake's past interviews resurfaced, and in those, she said a few things that felt pretty cringeworthy and tone-deaf, adding even more fuel to the fire.
Your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What is the next
What does
5
that
years
mean?
of... Well,
Did
yeah.
you see the movie?
I did see the movie. But I mean...
So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could, Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'm gonna put it here because it doesn't go with my outfit, but I will wear it later.
Has been the best part in making this particular movie?
I've noticed so many beautiful crystals on teeth. Is that a big fashion thing?
What has been the best part about making this particular film?
I mean, about teeth gems. Yes, that was really the highlight. Why is Deadpool Wolverine sold out? I'm sorry, I got distracted back there.
Rings. Rings also are like my comfort blanket. It's just a very expensive comfort blanket. I should like Snuggies instead as a comfort blanket. Instead I like Lorraine Schwartz.
This movie, I think that like when you see it, it feels like a big, beautiful summer movie, but like we didn't have any budget.
Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and
we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you. Mind you, Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds are 2 of the most famous and wealthiest celebrities in Hollywood. A lot of people felt like although Blake didn't outrightly say it, she was kind of making it clear to Justin that if he didn't agree to her suggestions, she would make sure he paid for it because she has the support of her quote-unquote dragons. So this is...
But what do you think about all this mess? Are you Team Justin or Team Blake? Let us know in the comments. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.